On this episode, we're diving into the biggest mistakes people make during their Disney trip and how to stay flexible, have more fun, and make the most of every moment in the parks. Today's April 24th, 2026, and this is episode 866 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys.
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
So we're still on the ship, but it's our last day. Womp womp.
Yeah, I don't like looking into the future. This is awful.
But
yeah.
Today we are going to talk about the mistakes made basically like kind of in the parks. I know we
during
just talked.
Your trip, you're there.
Yep.
If you haven't yet, go back to last episode. That's all about your planning, getting ready for the trip.
Yep.
All that good stuff. Before we dive into it, I want to say happy 2 days ago when this comes out. Happy 20th anniversary, Rhonda.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Happy
big
20
reason.
years.
Yeah, big reason that we were
20
doing
years.
the Destiny was 20 years married. Thank you for coming along on everything. This entire journey of being married to me. It's not always the easiest journey. Yeah, it's not always the easiest journey. It's gotten better as of more recently, I believe. But thanks for always putting up with my stuff and joining me and making this a reality too. You know, this podcast and all was something I had dreamt about, and you've been here for a very long time with it as well. You know, I mean, heck, next year will be a decade of doing this podcast.
With me too?
I mean, pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
We started in 2017, and but happy anniversary. That's my gift to you, which I just said this to the world. but yeah. So, let's get into this episode though. These are the mistakes, the on the ground mistakes we don't want you to make. Let's start with number one. A couple of these we're just going to kind of extend on the pre-planning process, but now you're there. Right? So what is number one?
Number one is rope dropping every day or closing every night. And that's kind of what, going back to the mistake of not, pre-planning, when you're there and you're like, all right, let's rope drop Magic Kingdom at, if especially you're staying on property,
by 8:30
a.m. So you're getting up at like 7.
Well, you're going to rope drop Animal Kingdom, which opens even an hour earlier. You're rope dropping Animal Kingdom at 7:30 a.m. and you decide you're going to close Magic Kingdom at 11 p.m.
No, that equals a miserable day.
It does.
It really does.
Now,
I would be miserable on that.
Yes, I would too. But we're going to talk about some other things that you can still do that. You just got to do some other things
100%.
During that day.
100%.
Right? But one of those things is our number two. So if you are thinking, I don't care what you say, Rhonda and Jeremy, I'm going to rope drop Animal Kingdom because I want to do Flight of Passage and some stuff. We're then going to hop midday to Magic Kingdom, and we're going to close it because we don't want to spend any money on Lightning Lanes. And we want to get as much done as we can this one day, and we're going to close out Tron at the end of the night. Our number 2 mistake to not make is this one, which will help you with your crazy day.
And that is not taking breaks, like skipping resort time and hitting a wall physically and mentally.
Yeah.
I mean, even there's been times where we've been in the park and Jeremy has said, because we've been not staying on property.
Mm-hmm.
So there has been times where he's like, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and stay in the parks because we're not going back to our house or resort. And I'm like, I need to ride something I can take a nap.
Right. Or see a show.
I need to I need to relax. I need to because I'm tired. I'm I can look up on my ring. I mean, you're walking 20 over 1,000 steps.
Yeah.
If you're not taking breaks.
Yeah, this could be a 30,000 step day.
100%.
Easily.
100%.
And Rhonda said, hitting that wall physically, sure, but you also said mentally. And I don't think a lot of people prepare for that. They just think, oh, if we walk and we do all this all day, our bodies are going to be tired. So is your mind. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just, you're going to be so overloaded and it's just too much. You need a break. Mm-hmm. And, the break doesn't have to be going back to your resort. If you're staying on property and it's accessible, I would.
Yeah.
The break can be, like Rhonda said, it's a small world. It's going to see Mickey's PhilharMagic.
There you go.
It's making a midday sit-down dining reservation and not having a time limit on it.
That's true, too.
It's saying, hey, we're going to eat lunch at 12:30, and our next lightning lane or our next plan really isn't until maybe 2:30. Mm-hmm. You might not sit at lunch for 2 hours, but you got 2 hours to take that break and to relax. It might be the time that you just decide you want to explore a little, I think of doing the festivals and having the scavenger hunts, now physically that still can be exhausting because you're moving from country to country around World Showcase, but that might be the time to go, you know what? We're going to do rides. We're going to do shows. We're going to do all this stuff at Epcot in the morning. We're going to do a table service sit down lunch around 12:30. And then after that, we're going to take an hour or two, whatever it may be, to explore the World Showcase and do the scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
So you can still take breaks in the park.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
All right, let's move on to number 3. And then number 4 is all about eating because it's one of my things that I like to do the most.
Number 3 is mobile ordering too late.
Yeah.
Then waiting forever or missed ideal pickup window times. For example, if you don't realize it's very busy, there's been times where we've gone in and been like, oh, these lines are long. Oh, let's just mobile order.
Right.
And then the mobile order pickup window is an hour or so later. And you're like, holy moly.
Right.
So
you got to remember now, a lot of times sometimes mobile order can be quicker than waiting the line, but mobile order is not designed to skip the line. It's designed to not stand in the line.
Right.
Just like a lightning lane.
Correct.
Mobile order is a lightning lane for food.
Correct.
If you were to have to stand in Casey's Corner line right before Happily Ever After happens, and that line would take you 30 minutes to get through, when you go into mobile order at that same time, the pickup window could be 30 minutes ahead. It's not going to be right then immediately, right? So you have to think about that. There has been times where I've thought, oh man, we're kind of hungry. Let's mobile order. We're over near God Rest Its Soul Dinosaur. And we're going, hey, let's grab lunch at Satali Canteen. I'm going to mobile order it right now. By the time we walk over there, it'll be ready. And it was an hour before the next window was open.
But what's really smart, what you can do.
What, Rhonda?
Is you can go into mobile order when it's breakfast time. Yes. And you want Satali Canteen. You can go, all right, well, we're going to have this possible window around 12:30. Yep. You can mobile order and pick your time.
And that's a wonderful way to do it. If you can 100%. Have that planning ahead of you, you can do that. But still, it's one of those where, when the first person mentions what's for lunch, even if you don't plan on eating for another hour,
100%.
You might want to bring up mobile order and be like, hey, let's see what the windows look like, because an hour from now,
absolutely,
he's going to be hangry. And so we don't want an hour from now to look at mobile order, and it's now an hour ahead. So, and that leads us right into number 4. And this goes both for quick service. This can go for table service. This can go just for dining in general.
Yeah. And that is poor timing for meals. Like eating at peak times and wasting prime ride window times.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people are going to be 11:30 to 1:30 for lunch is when everybody else is going to want to eat too. So you may want to get a little ahead of that. You may want to wait after. You might want to plan some rides during then.
Right.
This is where I think last episode Rhonda mentioned the snacks, bringing them in, getting them from vacation grocery delivery.
Absolutely.
You know, that's where you plan and go, look, kids and my brother, we're not going to eat. Kaylin.
Oh, my goodness.
When Kaylin's ready to eat, she's ready to eat.
Dude, I think for the first time, I feel like ever, I saw my daughter
Be
hangry.
Yeah, last night she
was
was
weird, and it was hysterical.
It was. Yes.
Like...
But if we had a little something snacked, if you say, look, Kaylin,
right,
we're probably not going to eat lunch until about 1:30, or we booked a dining reservation for 1:30.
Right.
Right? At 11... we got a little snack in our bag, or we have just planned that we're going to go and get you a Mickey pretzel, or we got to get back and get that delicious ice cream sandwich cookie dough bar
before it leaves.
Treats. Oh my God, I dream about that thing. But again, just think about all of that, you know, because otherwise you're going to get stuck in these lines, and mobile order is not going to save you.
Yeah.
Also, you have to think about, you know, the restaurants are always going to be busy enough. There's people eating at the sit-down restaurants all the time. But eating at Crystal Palace at noon is going to be a little bit different than maybe 2:30, right?
Right.
I mean, it is. It's going to be a little bit less hectic, a little bit less overall busy. Also, when you know that younger children tend to have to stick to certain times they eat, that's like the time they want to eat.
Yep.
You know? Later dinners can often work, or early dinners, you know, like an early bird special time or something like that. All right, let's move into number 5. We did touch on this during the pre-planning,
right?
But it's just as important when you're there.
Right. And I didn't say this prior, and now I will. Number 5 is winging lightning lanes in the moment. Instead of stacking or planning ahead, so we were talking about planning ahead. And, you know, so what I learned from a friend, where again, like last episode, I was like, I don't think I could even do it / I could, but I would not do very well, and I would waste my time and money. But here I will say, I knew I wouldn't make the mistake in the park, because I learned from a friend that she actually would do the lightning lanes, and she set on her alarm phone every 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's really cool. So I know that because you don't want to do that and just pick up your phone and go, oh, you know,
you want to,
what about this? And then you're like, well, now I can't get that. So
you need that type of plan. Like
you do.
And you want a plan of, you know, the pre-planning comes down to picking your first 3.
Right.
Right. The in park, once you're there, is starting to think of what you want beyond that, because that's where sometimes you got to pick up the scraps. But, you know, if you're going to scan in at your very first lightning lane, as soon as you're scanned in, it's going to open your next one. You don't want to, you want to have an idea of what you're looking for.
Right.
But you can't be exactly set to that. It might not be available. You also have to think, all right, you know, well, the lightning lane I truly want isn't available till 4 p.m. Well, I don't want to tie stuff up, or so what if instead, what's my backup? Like, just have that idea of how you're going to manage lightning lanes throughout the day. And using things like setting your alarms, reminders, all of that can be very, very useful. All right, let's move on to number 6, because maybe you didn't get lightning lanes.
Yes, and it's waiting in lines that aren't worth it. Like spending 90 minutes on something you don't even love. I'm trying to think of like what I wouldn't love.
Well, this goes 2 ways, okay? You know, it can be spending too much time in a line for a payoff that isn't worth it. But it also could be like, for example, I love Soarin'.
Yeah.
We love Soarin', right?
Right.
Let's just say it's a busy day and Soarin's at 70 minutes.
Right.
it's not about saying, is Soarin' worth waiting 70 minutes? It's thinking, what else could I do instead during those 70 minutes? Could I potentially ride Living with the Land?
Might be 10, 15 minutes.
Right. Then move over to Nemo. Might be 10, 15 minutes or a walk on.
Right.
And then go do Spaceship Earth. And on the way to Spaceship Earth from Nemo, we walk through Moana's Journey of Water.
Yeah.
Boom. We did 4 things in 70 minutes
right.
instead of 1.
Right.
And maybe at the end of the day, you didn't do Soarin', but you did those other 4 things in the same amount of time. Also, that's the time where you go, all right, I'm going to book the Lightning Lane for Soarin'. We're going to get it because I know that we don't want to spend too much time. Mm-hmm. Because if you're not rope dropping Soarin', when you look at the middle of the day, it can get up there depending on the crowd. So,
or
it's that trade-off.
We were going to stand in line for Buzz the other day.
Yes.
And unfortunately, there was a long, long line. And there's not a ton of line inside. Mm-hmm. So we were going to get rained on.
Yes.
So
it was on its way. It was listed at what, 55?
I think so. And
which is well worth the wait.
Yeah.
But it wasn't for us in that moment.
Correct.
And
but
yes, the weather was coming.
If we were like there for the day, this was just our lunch day. But if we were there, that might be the time to go, all right, well, let's see, PhilharMagic. Let's go ahead and get in here. Yep. Or let's go ride the People Mover. Yep. Or, do something that is a shorter wait, and then you might not get rained on. And then again, it's Florida, and then you're in PhilharMagic. It rains. It's done. You come out, and then you can get in the line.
Then you go wait for it. Yeah. So, it is. It's thinking about that trade-off. It's thinking about all of those types of things. It's not just about whether the ride is worth it. And sometimes the ride is not worth it.
Correct.
Like, I just think of these people that will wait an hour and a half, 2 hours for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And I'm sorry, the payoff is not worth it. You could do so much more during that time.
But for who?
Well, for me personally.
Correct.
But that's
what if you have children that are like...
replace Seven Dwarfs Mine Train with another ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just have to think about those types of things.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to number 7, which is one I feel like we talk about all the time.
And that is letting one bad moment ruin the day. Weather, crowds, ride breakdowns, it happens.
All 3 of those things will happen during your trip.
Absolutely.
Weather will happen.
Absolutely.
Ride breakdowns will happen.
Yep.
Crowds will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylin will get hangry. Right?
Yeah.
Little things are not going to go your way.
Yeah.
I guarantee it. You can have the greatest plan in the world, and it is not going to go to plan.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let that ruin your day. I've used this example plenty of times. I will go. We were there with my mom, my dad, my brother, his 3 kids. Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
Oh, yeah.
We did not get in for the show that we thought we were getting in line for, and we were going to have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Easily, we're going to have to wait another, length of show, plus wait time to turn it over to get the next. It was going to be a little while in that line, but everybody wanted to do it. We could have immediately all turned into poopy pants, but instead, the children created a game where they saw who could hold a cup of water on top of their head the longest without it falling off. And it's one of my favorite memories.
Yeah.
But we could have let that little moment ruin the day. Yeah, you can look, Rise of Resistance is going to break down while you're there. You might even be in line for it. Yep. You might be close to the beginning for it, right? This would be a great one to use over at that park down the street, the new one. Mm-hmm. Something's breaking down, trust me.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to be in line for it.
Yeah.
Don't let that ruin your whole day.
Yeah.
One of the best decisions I have made in the past 6 months, and I've made many, was Ministry of Magic. And us trying to rope drop it coming from Helios with Rob and Tina and all the kids and everything, and it breaking down and breaking down and breaking down. We could have taken that moment and let it ruin the rest of our day, which was just starting. Didn't. Or we could have done what we did. We said, well, shoot. And we left.
Yep.
And we went on and did a whole bunch of other things.
Yes, we did. And we had a great day.
When later we still couldn't get back on it,
yep.
we just moved on with our day again instead of letting it ruin it. Yep. So,
and weather's going to happen.
Weather's definitely going to happen.
So, like, just be prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know the type of person you're going to be with. And it could be somebody like me. Like, I don't want to get wet. Like, I want to be prepared. I want to have a poncho. I want to have, and then when I don't care.
Yeah.
So if you're with somebody that they get wet and then they're like me and they'd be cranky and complainy and like,
we'll call it the SCAR rule. Be prepared.
Yeah, there you go.
That honestly, during the trip, you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
And it's not on our list. This will be a little one we're going to kind of add, but be prepared for the weather. Be prepared for the heat, because those can ruin your trip during it.
Yeah.
You know, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, it might rain, it might not rain. I'm not going to, pack an umbrella, or we've never, ever done this, or ponchos or whatever it may be, Hey, that's on you when it monsoons on you in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sorry. That
I'm
was your
usually
fault.
prepared.
I think this leads us perfectly into our number 8.
And that is not being flexible. Like sticking too rigidly to the plan when things, shift. Like,
and again, they're going to shift.
They are. Like something breaking down, or, weather happening, and then, other rides are closed because they happen to be outside, or there was lightning or something like that.
Parked down the street.
Yeah. Oh Lord.
But it's being flexible.
But that's and yes, we're talking obviously about Disney, but also this does go for anywhere else, like the park down the street. And
you're gonna say like life. This is just life.
No.
When things don't go your way,
Just
there's a
shift.
Poster behind me of a cat hanging from a branch.
Yeah. But seriously, like it was a bummer when the Epic Universe lightninged, and yes, it rained, but it was a storm where it was lightning, and they kept, pushing back like a pool, like 30 minutes. Well, lightning again, 30 more minutes. And then, nothing opened back up. So it was very hard. And yes, that can be a bum, but that's where, just make sure that you can shift, But
like, what did we do? We went and we sat down, we ate a pizza moon, so again, those are the times too where, now we're recording these episodes literally back to back, these two, the pre-planning and the one. So I have a hard time remembering what we said before and what we're saying now. But you have to be able to shift. You have to have almost like that Rolodex. I think we were talking about it last episode, that Rolodex. We were. So you might go, all right, when it rains, here's our Rolodex of items we can pull out.
100%.
Right? We're at Magic Kingdom, Philhar Magic. Or let's go all of a sudden see if there's a last minute. There probably will dining reservation at Skipper Canteen, and let's go sit for lunch and wait it out. Mm-hmm. Instead of just standing there in the middle of the rain like, well, this sucks. My vacation's ruined. Because as we also learned a couple episodes ago, the cast members can't turn it off. We've had a couple comments on that.
You did, and
they're all sarcastic and joking. All right,
okay,
but seriously, be flexible.
Yeah.
And this comes down to that checklist we talk about. It's okay to have a checklist of things you want to do. It's not okay to let that determine the success of your vacation.
Yeah.
I'm going to put all that on a shirt. It's a mouthful, but
that
all
is
of
a
that is
mouthful.
going on a shirt.
Okay.
You have to be able to be flexible with your checklist and have other things to do and move on. My brother has an entire book he just released about it.
Oh.
Move on to the next play.
There you go.
Right. All right. Number 9. Only silly people do this.
Okay. And that is skipping shows, parades, and the atmosphere, focusing only on rides and missing the magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of magic in the shows
There
and the parades
sure
and the
is.
fireworks.
There
and the,
sure is.
And atmosphere, man.
Yeah. Don't miss that. Like the rides will like always be there, I feel like. And then like you don't know, like, I hate to say it like this, like a ride, a show or a parade, you never know what you're going to get. Yeah. You might get that amazing Moana that waves specifically at you.
Yep.
And you're like, oh my gosh, she just waved at me.
Yeah, or your little kids dressed like Moana.
Yes. I
mean,
there's just...
And it's like... Those are the ones you come back
special.
from. You ask a kid, what was your favorite part? When Moana waved at me.
Right.
Like, bruh, we rode like this and this and this and this.
100%.
Yeah, don't care. Moana waved at me.
Correct.
While I was dressed like Moana.
Yeah.
True story. That happened to me last year. It's like, don't miss the details. Don't miss the shows. Yeah. Don't miss the parade. I get parades aren't for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
But man, there's nothing like a Disney parade.
Yeah.
Or a Disney nighttime show, or going to see the Frozen sing-along. There are a lot of people that come back, and you might be like, what was one of your favorite things? dude, the Frozen sing-along was amazing. It was hilarious. Yeah. And they had these two people that were ad-libbing, and, like, it's just, you're going to miss out a lot if all you do is focus on ride.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. While you're going from one ride to the next, that's when you can still take the time to look at some of the details, enjoy the atmosphere, take in the way that things change when you move from land to land within a park.
Yeah.
The scenery and the music and all the ground. Like, there's so much to experience that isn't just rides. And
it's funny because, like, speaking of that, back in the last episode, and I'm going to say out of the mouths of babes, is where you're like asking your kids, what was your favorite part? And then they say, oh, it was eating Mickey ice cream. Yeah. And you're like, what? We rode this. Right. And that's going back to the episode when we were talking about, like Sean said, like, what do you want to do today to your kids? And that, I think, is the big major part of planning, where you do want to say that. And then, like, tell them about the shows and tell them about the parades, because they might want to do that. And again, so you can come home and not go, well, we didn't get to do this. But if you did one thing that each family member wanted to do, then you did have it. And then again, successful. It is. And then again, ask your kids, like, what was your favorite part? And you'll be like, oh,
you might be surprised.
You really might.
Like you're saying, tell them what's available, because you're right. I bet a lot of parents would go in. I'm sure did this, a long time ago. Is they only say, here's all the rides we can do.
Correct.
You're right. They don't tell them about the shows. Yep. They don't tell them about the ice cream bars and the, the character meet and greets or whatever it may be. And then they miss out on those things. Yep. So, because they think that all it is rides. All right. We're going to finish out number 10. Our final one.
And that is not asking for help. Cast members and, of course, your travel advisor can fix a lot in real time. Yeah. And if you have a question, and this is where, too, like, I hate to say it like this, talk about it out loud in a line, because that is where I'll never forget. Like, and this is where
we're usually creepily behind you. Like, what are they saying? Let's help them.
Yeah. I hate to say it. That's why I'm like, this is why we do what we do. I tell this story, I think, all the time. And is this a pet peeve of yours?
What?
By the way,
which story is this one?
When we were in Toy Story, Slinky Dog Dash, that line, and the people behind us were asking, like, talking to themselves. You don't? And we turned around and we started talking to them, and they just were like, oh my God, thank you so much. And it was just super cool. And that's just where I was like, wow, this is why we do it. And, it's just super cool. Like, so just ask for help. It's okay. Like,
and that's why the cast members are there.
Yeah. If they don't know, guess what?
They will find out immediately.
100%.
It's rare that a cast member is going to be like, I don't know, man. Bye. Like, they will find out. They have to get another cast member over. They have to look it up. They have to radio someone, stop and talk to them. There's no point in waiting or wasting 15 minutes wandering around because you don't know which direction this thing is or that thing is, or, what this restaurant serves or what that does. Like, just go up and ask a cast member, right? They're going to help you out. And our Facebook group is a wonderful, wonderful place to ask questions, not only, before your trip, but during. You can go in there. Of course, you can always hit us up on the socials at Maine ST Magic. If you want to hear everything coming up, we got a lot of fun stuff, including our review of the Disney Destiny. Car camping is coming at the end of May.
I know. I need to look at getting that new tent.
We're breaking our 2-night record. We're going for 3 nights.
Oh, Lord.
Which I'm super excited for. So everybody, trust me, you're going to want to hear about that one. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and you get these brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. And then Rhonda and I would be so very thankful if you could please leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.